Hello artists, welcome. Today I'm going to present to you the project because you must be done with the video lesson so you're ready to start your independent project. So you should have a photo, your own personal photo that you want to use for this, and you should have completed the video lessons, but now you're going to be working for the next few days on your own to clean and repair this video. You might want to open this slide presentation later after we're done here and just open this video that's embedded. This is from one of my favorite photographers and artists. His name is Peter McKinnon, and I think he is a wonderful example of how you can use Photoshop to just make a good photo great. And that's what we're doing in this independent project, is you're just taking a beloved photo and we're just making the best it can be, okay? Before you start your independent photo retouching project, you should have completed these 4 videos. So your 8 steps in photo restoration, the cloning tools, the extra steps, which included the red eye and the reduced noise filter, as well as the color replacement tool, and then finally that advanced photo editing. And my suggestion for you is you might want to even have this photo editing video lesson up and ready to go when you're even working independently, even though you're using your own photo. It just might be helpful to kind of walk through the steps again, all right? You do not have to do a portrait for this. However, I'm assuming most of us are going to be doing a portrait. So I really want you to think about making all of your changes on a duplicate layer like you just learned in the advanced editing, just so that way you can make sure that you have the option where you can fine tune and soften your edits and changes so it doesn't look fake, because that is one of the things I'm looking for, is trying not to over edit your photos, because it can become really fake really fast in Photoshop. Okay, so beyond your 8 steps that you have to do, I'm also looking for step number 4. Okay, so tonal balance, removing color cast, cropping, straightening, all of those things, yes. But beyond that, step number 4 is really important. I'm going to want to see you remove an object, so removing a person from the background or a tree or whatever. You have to remove something, or maybe it's just spot damage to the photo. You also have to use the color replacement tool somewhere to replace the color. And remember, you're going to want to do that before you make that copy layer. So remember back here when I said you might want to put it on a duplicate layer, do these changes first. So do your cloning and your color replacement before you make that copy of that layer. And then you're going to go through your 8 steps. Okay, so you're going to fix color correction, you're going to scale and crop, you're going to fix your levels and saturation, and then you're going to use those specific tools like the dodge, the sponge, and the burn tool to just bring out the contrast, to make it pop. Okay, and then any little skin imperfections with the healing brush and all of those things, you're going to fine tune all of those. You can use adjustment layers if you want to, like you do in the advanced editing, but that's up to you. Right? Again, these are your 8 steps. They're in this slide presentation. I would go through them in order. Go through them in order, okay? You have 3 days to complete this. So I'm assuming that I will start the class hour and let you guys know when it's due. If not, check in Google Classroom because it will tell you exactly when this is due. If you are a person who took way longer on the lessons, you might not have 3 days. I have it adjudicated out in my lesson plans and in Google Classroom, so you've done the lessons and then you have 3 days. But if you were gone or absent, or you worked too slowly through the lessons, you might not have 3 days. If you were a person who rapid fire got through those lessons really fast, you might have more than 3 days. But you are responsible for making sure you know when it's due and check in Google Classroom. If you can't find that information, make sure you ask me. So then the following last few slides here in this slide presentation are just examples of what I'm looking for. So if this is the before image, this is the after. You just see much bolder, brighter contrast. Your tone is better. Your color is better. The saturation is better. You're removing shadows. This is a great example of how somebody would have used the dodge tool to remove that shadow that was on that part of his eye and underneath her eyes. Removing those color casts so you balance it out, making your highlights a little bit brighter and your darks a little darker so that, oof, you get that nice pop of color. Taking that sponge tool and heightening the saturation of things so your colors just glow. We're trying to make these look the best we can. So again, before and after. A lot of times you don't even realize how much your photo needed editing until after it's edited. But I want to warn you, be careful, don't over edit these things. We don't want it to look overly fake. And I would say we're starting to veer into over editing here. We want it to look good. We don't want it to look fake. You have 3 days. Make sure that you send this to me when you are done by inviting me in Photoshop, and make sure you turn it in Google Classroom so I know it's ready to be graded. Good job.